Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom, the podcast where the microscopic meets the meaningful. I'm Ethan Foster, your resident observer of all things human, especially the strange dietary habits we keep. And by strange, I sometimes mean mine. I've invited dessert to dinner one too many times.
I'm Alara Sky, always ready to point out the brilliance of nature, and occasionally Ethan's questionable food decisions, while hopefully helping you tap into your innate health potential. Today, we're serving up knowledge with a fruity twist. Specifically, we're talking about mangoes and their surprisingly mighty influence on your metabolism.
Dr. Mercola calls mangoes a cellular powerhouse. Now, I love a sweet mango as much as the next person, but I had no idea they're basically the superhero sidekick your metabolism never knew it needed.
Exactly. Mangoes tend to fly under the radar compared to, say, kale or avocado. Those produce superstars with their own fan clubs. Mangoes just show up quietly in fruit salads, but it turns out they're playing 4D chess with your insulin levels, among other things.
I'm imagining a mango wearing glasses, reading up on a medical journal, and then deciding to lower my blood sugar. But apparently, it's not just fantasy. Research shows that people who consume mangoes regularly can actually see improvements in insulin sensitivity.
Insulin sensitivity is how well your body uses insulin to manage your blood sugar. When you're more sensitive, your body needs less insulin to get the job done. Less insulin floating around means a reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Plus, there's this piece about chronic low-grade inflammation, which can act like a long, drawn-out sabotage of your metabolic health.
It's like the silent troublemaker in the back of the class, passing sneaky notes. But according to studies, mangoes show a potential to quell that troublemaker. One group of researchers specifically looked at individuals who were overweight or obese and had signs of chronic low-grade inflammation. They gave half of them mango and the other half a mango-free product, though equal in calories, and then measured what happened.
Let's not forget the all-important insulin tests. They did oral glucose tolerance tests before and after the 4-week period. And guess what? The mango group ended up with lower fasting insulin levels compared to the control group.
That's a big deal. Lower insulin means better insulin sensitivity. There's a handy measurement called HOMAIR, which basically estimates insulin resistance, how poorly your cells respond to insulin. That score went down in the mango group. It's like the group said, "Thanks, I'll take fewer problems with my blood sugar, and you can keep the rest."
They also looked at the disposition index, which reflects how well your beta cells, those insulin-producing champs in your pancreas, are stepping up to the plate. That improved too, which is another sign that the body was handling insulin more effectively after 4 weeks of mango consumption.
I find it fascinating that they tried to figure out the why of it. They looked at a gene called NRF2, which is basically your body's built-in hero for antioxidant defenses. Although the results weren't statistically huge, there was a near doubling in NRF2 expression in the mango group.
The moral is, mangoes might help your cells run their own anti-inflammatory campaign by cranking up antioxidant defenses. And in turn, that can reduce insulin resistance.
I guess that means if you have a sweet tooth, a mango might be a better move than a donut. That's a pretty easy swap, right? Maybe. Though a donut with a mango on top doesn't count, by the way.
Not even close. Let's talk about a separate study for a moment. It looked at obese individuals already dealing with the complexities of weight issues and higher than average blood sugar. They had these folks consume freeze-dried mango pulp for 12 weeks, 10 grams a day if you want the specifics. And lo and behold, they saw significant reductions in blood glucose levels.
Wait, so people's blood sugar improved, but did they lose weight as well?
Interestingly, no. Their weight didn't move in any big way, which tells us that the mango effect on blood sugar wasn't just piggybacking on weight loss. It points to some direct influence on glucose metabolism.
So we can't chalk it up to, oh yeah, they ate mangoes, but they went on a diet and lost weight, so obviously their blood sugar went down. No, the mango seems to be taking credit all by itself.
Exactly. On top of that, you've got the mango polyphenols. These compounds basically hijack your cell's internal control panel. One major target is something called the AMPK pathway, like the metabolic master switch. When AMPK is activated, the cell says, okay, let's burn some fat and keep new fat from forming.
It's like a no-nonsense personal trainer busting into the cell saying, all right, you slackers, shape up, and let's start lipolysis, aka breaking down stored fat for energy. So the mango polyphenols can, in essence, reduce the formation of new fat cells and reduce inflammation in the process.
That's it in a nutshell. And it's not just about losing fat. It's also about lowering the inflammatory signals those adipocytes, fancy word for fat cells, release when they get bigger or more numerous. Mango polyphenols also seem to tamp down NF-kappa B, a key factor driving inflammation.
That's quite a resume for a fruit. More than just a sweet treat to garnish your smoothie, apparently. On that note, let's chat about real-world applications, because studies in labs and references to freeze-dried pulp can feel so distant from daily life, right?
Totally. One straightforward approach is to eat more mango several times a week. People can enjoy it fresh in salads or salsas. But the consistency might be key. You want it in your routine. not just a random cameo once a month.
Yes, and the fresh stuff is best if you're looking for the synergy of fiber, vitamins, and those polyphenols. If you can get it organic, all the better. But we don't need to start building shrines to the produce section. Just making sure you get a few helpings a week might move the metabolic needle.
So how do you efficiently slice a mango? That seems to be a big question for people. Between the big flat pit and the slimy surface, it's a messy puzzle. The trick is to find that little dimple on the mango's surface. Slice about a 1/4 inch away from it, one side, then the other. Now you've got 2 cheeks. Score each cheek in a grid-like pattern, then scoop out the cubes. Or you can cut them into spears if that's your jam. Also, trim around the pit so you're not wasting good fruit.
Great advice. So, we're basically telling our audience, don't fear the pit, embrace the cheek. Your insulin will thank you. And you can do so many things with those mango cubes. Blend them in smoothies, top your yogurt, or just eat them plain for a quick boost.
Yes. But let's also remember the bigger holistic lifestyle piece. If you're trying to optimize metabolism, you can't rely solely on a fruit hero. The rest of the cast, proper exercise, stress management, adequate sleep, needs to show up too.
That's something Dr. Mercola emphasizes often. We live in a toxin-laden environment that messes with our mitochondria, and the combination of healthy eating, staying active, and boosting our antioxidant defenses is crucial. Mango can be part of that synergy.
Exactly. I like to think of it as a puzzle. Mango is just one piece, but a surprisingly helpful one. It's an easy, enjoyable addition to the diet, not some weird powdered formula you can barely pronounce.
Yes, nobody wants to read a label that might as well be a science fair experiment gone wrong. Mango is approachable, tasty, and apparently a triple threat. Lowers blood sugar, improves insulin, and fights inflammation.
So if you're out there thinking, I need a convenient way to up my carbohydrate intake with health benefits in mind, consider that a cup of diced mango has about 25 grams of carbs. Whole fruits are an ideal source of beneficial carbohydrates.
Excellent point. Some folks worry about fruit sugars, but the fiber and nutrients in whole fruits shift the metabolic impact, and that's all the more reason to keep them in your dietary rotation, especially if your daily life calls for 250 grams or more of carbs to keep your brain humming and your muscles from staging a rebellion.
A fruit rebellion is never fun. You end up dozing off midday or feeling too sluggish to get anything done. Meanwhile, your body is saying, hello, can I get some actual carbs so I can function properly? Mango can fit that slot.
Let's do a quick recap for clarity's sake. First, we learned that mango consumption helps with insulin sensitivity. One study gave overweight or obese participants daily mango for 4 weeks, measuring their insulin markers. Lower fasting insulin levels and improved HOMAIR scores were the star findings.
Next, freeze-dried mango pulp for 12 weeks in obese individuals also yielded lower blood glucose, even without weight loss. This underscores a direct effect on glucose metabolism, not just weight reduction.
Then we have the cellular level data. Mango polyphenols activate AMPK, which helps burn fat and block new fat cells. Plus, these polyphenols reduce inflammation by knocking down NF-kappa B and pro-inflammatory cytokines.
So when you eat a mango, you're nudging your cells to be more efficient and less inflamed. An internal cheerleader for your metabolic health.
I love that image of a mango cheerleader, pom-poms and all, doing cartwheels inside my cells. Any side notes on practical tips? Well, we said eating fresh organic mango is best, and consistency is crucial if you want results.
And if you're slicing it, do yourself a favor and follow that pit locating tip. The only tears you should shed are tears of joy when your blood sugar improves.
We can't ignore the big picture. Combine mango munching with other healthy lifestyle habits. Sleep enough, get active, cut out as many toxins as possible, maybe practice mindfulness. The synergy there is the real key.
Yes, your mitochondria want that entire environment of health, not just one beneficial fruit. But it's nice to know there are simple, delicious ways to support your metabolic function. You don't have to choke down some bizarre concoction if you have daily access to mango.
Also, worth noting that other forms of mango, like freeze-dried powder, can work if you're traveling or want something convenient. But watch out for sugary dried mango snacks with all the extra junk. The best route is fresh or freeze-dried without added sweeteners.
Absolutely. Now, some folks might wonder, is half a mango a day enough? Or should I eat an entire orchard's worth of mangoes? The studies used about 10 grams of freeze-dried pulp, roughly half a fresh mango, so moderate amounts, spread out regularly, might be a good baseline.
Everything in moderation, including, well, moderation itself. But yes, if you want the benefits, consistent servings are the way to go. Mango brownies probably don't deliver the same effect as a straightforward piece of fruit, though.
I can already see someone shoving mango into a sugary dessert and saying, but it's healthy now. Let's not do that. The idea is to keep it as whole as possible. If you're feeling adventurous, toss it in a smoothie with some spinach or kale. That sweet tang can balance out the greens.
Let's put a bow on this. We've learned that mangoes are a stealth health champion, taming your blood sugar, polishing your insulin response, nudging your fat cells to behave, and lowering inflammation. If that's not cellular wisdom, I don't know what is.
Well said.
So, dear listeners, the next time you walk through the produce aisle, consider letting a few mangoes tag along in your cart. Your cells will probably do a secret happy dance. No tiki music required. Keep it simple and keep it delicious.
And that's a wrap for today's session of Cellular Wisdom, where we dive deep into the everyday wonders that might just transform your health from the inside out.
We'll be back soon with more insights on natural ways to supercharge your well-being, keep your mitochondria humming, and your humor intact. Until then, remember to slice your mango carefully.
And then savor it, because as it turns out, your metabolism will thank you. Stay curious, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.